There is a house on the edge of Willow Ridge that has been empty for nearly 20 years. No for sale sign, no boarded windows, no official record of why it was abandoned. People say the silence around it feels heavier than the house itself, like something is listening. When I moved into town, locals warned me not to walk near it after sunset. They never said why. They only said the house had a habit of noticing visitors. I didn't take it seriously until the night I walked past it for the first time. The house looked ordinary at first glance: weathered paint, cracked windows, a dark silhouette against the trees. But the longer I stared, the more I felt like the windows weren't reflecting light. They were absorbing it, like eyes adjusting to look back at me. I kept walking, but my phone vibrated with a notification I didn't recognize. It was a simple message: turn around, no app name, no sender. Just those two words. Against every instinct, I did. One of the upstairs lights in the house was on. It's just one. A soft, warm glow, almost comforting, except I knew the house had no electricity. The light flickered twice, like someone inside was signaling. I stepped closer, just enough to see through the glass. The room was empty, except for a small table in the center and a notebook sitting on top of it. Pages rustled, even though the window was closed. Curiosity pushed me forward. The front door was slightly open, as if someone had left in a hurry. No footprints. No dust disturbed. Just a silent invitation into something that didn't feel abandoned at all. Inside, the air was surprisingly warm. The floorboards didn't creak. Every room looked staged, like someone prepared them for visitors, but never returned, except the upstairs study, where the light continued to flicker. The notebook on the table was open to a page filled with handwriting, neat, steady lines that didn't match the age of the house. The words were simple: do not stay after the second flicker. Before I could react, the light overhead flickered once. My pulse spiked. I stepped back toward the door, but something soft tapped against the wall behind me. Not a knock, not a footstep. Just a gentle tap, like someone testing how close I was. The light flickered a second time. Instantly, the house changed, not physically, but atmospherically. Rooms felt narrower. Shadows seemed to thicken. The temperature dropped so fast the air stung my lungs. I bolted for the stairs, but the hallway ahead seemed longer than before. Every step echoed in distortion, like the sound was lagging behind me. The house wasn't abandoned, it was awake, and it didn't want me leaving. When I reached the front door, it quietly clicked shut. No slam, no force. Just a calm, decisive sound, as if the house had made up its mind. My phone buzzed again. The same message appeared. But this time it said, "You stayed past the second flicker." The screen glitched, and the message distorted into something else entirely. Go upstairs. I should have run. But something about the command felt less like a threat, and more like a warning from someone else inside the house. Someone who wanted me to live. The study door was open when I reached it again. The notebook had flipped to a new page on its own. Fresh ink was still dripping from the words. Third flicker means it sees you. I didn't wait to see the light change. I sprinted for a window, shattered the glass with the notebook itself, and leaped into the cold night air. When I looked back, the house was completely dark. No light, no movement, no sign anything had ever been inside. I never went near it again. But sometimes, when I'm walking past the edge of Willow Ridge, I get another notification on my phone. No sender, no app. Just the same two words from before. Turn around, and every time I do, the house is lit again. One warm light in the upper room, waiting for someone new to ignore the warnings. I tried to move on after what happened in that house, but you don't just move on from a place that watches you. Some houses are built with wood and nails. Others are built from something older, something that never should have been disturbed. And every time I closed my eyes after I escaped, I kept seeing that single warm light in the upstairs window. The one that never went out. The one that felt like it was staring back at me. I told myself it was over. That whatever lived in that crawl space, whatever whispered through those vents, whatever hid behind the walls, it was gone. But houses don't forget. They don't forgive. And weeks later, I learned something that made everything worse. The house had been sold again. Someone new had moved in. I only found out because I received a message from an unknown number. No name, no ID, just a single photo of the house at night. The window, the same one, was glowing again. And underneath the photo, 5 words. Did you hear it too? My chest tightened. I hadn't told anyone what happened. No one knew about the footsteps above the ceiling, the notebook full of drawings, the breathing behind the vents. No one could have known. But someone inside that house knew enough to reach out to me. I replied instantly, asking who they were. They didn't answer. Instead, another message came through an audio clip, only a few seconds long. At first, it was just static, the kind that crawls under your skin. Then it faded, replaced by something much worse. Breathing, slow, shaky, panicked. The same breathing I heard the night everything went wrong. The same pattern, the same rhythm. I deleted the audio instinctively, like it was something alive that might crawl out of my phone. Minutes later, another text appeared. It's still in the walls. I didn't want to get involved again. But guilt is a trap, and fear is a leash. I couldn't ignore it. So I drove back to the house. I told myself I'd just look. Just confirm it was a prank. Just check the lights and walk away. But when I pulled up to the curb, something was wrong immediately. The house looked darker than before, like the shadows were thicker, heavier. The porch light was dead. The air felt colder, like the house was holding its breath. I approached slowly, trying to convince myself I was being dramatic. But then I saw the front door. It wasn't closed. It was slightly open, just a crack, like someone had rushed inside or rushed out. I called out, asking if anyone was there. No answer. Inside, the house felt colder than outside, as if the temperature dropped 20 degrees the moment I stepped through the door. The silence was worse than any noise could have been. Silence is never empty in a place like that. Silence means something is waiting. Then I heard it, a soft scrape above me. In the attic, followed by a slow dragging sound. Something was moving up there. For a moment, I froze, staring at the ceiling as dust drifted down in a thin line. Then a voice whispered from the dark hallway behind me. "Don't go up there." I spun around. A girl stood there, maybe early 20s, hair messy, clothes rumpled like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were wide, hollow, terrified. I asked if she was the one who messaged me. She nodded. "He comes out at night," she whispered. "Through the crawl space, through the vents, he watches from the walls. I hear him breathing. I hear him talking to himself." I thought I was losing my mind until I found something. She reached into her pocket and handed me a folded piece of paper. A drawing. A childlike sketch of the house, the upstairs room, the vent, and in the vent 2 eyes staring out. "I didn't draw this," she said. "It was pushed out through the vent." Like he wanted me to see it. The dragging sound above us grew louder, closer. Something heavy shifting across the attic floorboards. Dust fell again, thicker this time. The girl shook her head, backing away. "I shouldn't have called you," she said. "It makes him angry. He hates when people interfere." A deep thud came from the attic above us. Then another. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate, right above our heads. I grabbed her arm, pulling her toward the door. But she stopped, staring up as if hypnotized. The footsteps moved toward the top of the attic stairs. Each step creaked louder than the last. Then something happened that still haunts me. The attic door at the end of the hallway, without being touched, began to open. Inch by inch, the girl whispered, "He's coming out." The attic door swung fully open. and the breathing started again. Not shaky this time, not quiet, but loud. Hungry, close, we ran. Up a door. Down the steps, into the street. We didn't look back. Not until we were halfway down the block. When we did, the house was dark again. Except for that one window. The warm light was on. Just like before. Just like it was waiting. And as we stood there, trying to catch our breath, her phone vibrated. A notification. A message from an unknown number. She showed me the screen. It was a picture of us, taken from the attic window. The caption beneath it read, "You should have stayed inside.